Once upon a time, in a peaceful valley, there stood two remarkable trees, a mighty oak and a slender bamboo. They had been growing side by side for many years, each proud of its unique strength. The oak tree was tall and sturdy, its trunk thick and strong. The bamboo, on the other hand, was slender and flexible, with tall, graceful stalks that swayed in the wind. One day, a great storm began to brew over the valley. The sky darkened, and the winds howled fiercely, sending gusts of rain and lightning across the land. The oak tree stood firm, its thick trunk unshaken by the violent winds. It was sure that its strength would carry it through the storm. Meanwhile, the bamboo bent and swayed, its tall stalks whipping in the wind. It felt like it might break, but the bamboo continued to bend with the gusts, leaning low to the ground when the wind pushed hard, then standing up again once the storm passed. The oak tree looked at the bamboo and shook its branches in disdain. "Why do you bend so much? You should stand firm like me," the oak said. "I am strong, I will not fall. You, on the other hand, are weak." The bamboo didn't answer. It simply bent with the wind and waited for the storm to pass. The storm raged for hours. The oak tree stood tall, but the winds grew stronger and stronger, bending its thick branches until, crack, one of its mighty limbs snapped, then another. The oak tree groaned under the pressure, its strong branches unable to withstand the force of the storm. Slowly, the oak tree began to lose its battle against the wind. When the storm finally passed, the valley was calm again. The oak tree stood in ruin, its broken branches scattered across the ground. But the bamboo was still standing, its slender stalks slightly bent, but unharmed. The oak tree, exhausted and battered, turned to the bamboo and said, "I see now that strength does not always mean being rigid and unyielding. You bent with the storm while I fought it, and because of that, you have survived." The bamboo smiled and replied, "Sometimes, strength lies not in standing firm against every challenge, but in being able to adapt and bend when necessary. It's not about resisting the forces of life, but knowing when to yield and when to stand strong." The oak tree, though still proud, understood the bamboo's wisdom. From that day forward, the oak tree no longer looked down on the bamboo. Instead, it admired the bamboo's flexibility, knowing that true strength was not always in being unbreakable, but in having the resilience to bend and adapt when life's storms came. Moral of the story: true strength is not about being rigid and unyielding. It's about resilience, flexibility, and the ability to adapt when life challenges us. Sometimes bending is the best way to survive,